Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the Sillyville edition. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to catch the show live, we're going to go ahead and dive right on in. AT&T gets away with its bogus $1.99 administration fee. So basically there was a fee that was illegally added based on the fact that government's like, yeah, you can have a random silent administrative fee on your bill. They did it. They added the $1.99. It caused a big ruckus. So of course there was a class action lawsuit, and the judge told them that they'll sell for $14 million, meaning customers will get less than 10%, which is 20 cents. All the customers are going to get 20 cents. AT&T gets to keep, the other 90 cents, or what is it? $1.80, it looks like. So you see, this is why companies continue to break the rules and continue to do things that are going to cause them to get into these cases. They know they just put up a little bit of a fight. They pay a few $1 million. They get to keep all the profit. No, what should happen is the judge determines that they are guilty. They have actually violated the law. Okay, so let's suppose that you made $100 million on this. All right, you are forced to pay back $300 million. Let's just go ahead and get biblical. If you intentionally stole something from somebody in the Bible, you'd have to pay back 3 times what it was. Under many cases, there's a few nuances here and there. But that being said, they're caught. Okay, you just charged a bunch of people $1.99 a month. Guess what? You're going to go ahead and pay them back $6 a month instead. All of them. But that's going to hurt our profits. Yes, it will. And then you're going to have to go to your shareholders and say, we screwed up. And then your shareholders are going to decide, do they want to keep you for another round or not? You see, that is what we need to do to clean up corporate America. This is not capitalism going awry. This is the legal system going awry. The legal system. What they did is illegal. They need to be punished for it. Not a fraction of what they made, but 3 times what they made. Give it back to the people and an additional fine to the state. When they actually start losing money, they're going to comply with the law. That's what you need to do. I'm telling you. But anyway, that's that update. And we have another update. I love, by the way, this edition of the business news is about the bias news. The next 2 articles are so biased, it makes me want to go vomit somewhere. So excuse me, if I do one of these, I'm vomiting from the sheer stupidity of the biasness. Okay, so have a look at this one. Ars Technica. Radical ruling. Let's Texas ban social media moderation based on viewpoint. Okay, let me explain this to you. Texas passed a law saying, hey, big tech, Twitter, Facebook, you're not allowed to restrict people based on their viewpoint. Why did they do this? Well, we happen to notice that you don't like what conservative people say, so you tend to ban them 10 times more often than you ban a liberal person, a left person, And so Texas came out and said, yeah, you're not allowed to ban people because you don't like their viewpoint. Because, we have this thing called free speech and all this. I know it's kind of pesky. So Ars Technica is like, it's a radical bill. The people have to be fair in their banning. It makes sense to me. It really makes sense to me. Okay. Now, this has been going back and forth between different cases. They lost a case. They won a case. In this case, the case is still going through the courts, but the current judge said that, yeah, I think we're going to allow you to apply the law. That might be still overturned down the road, but basically it boils down to we need to set objective standards for what is a bannable offense, and you need to hold to it. And if some guy on the right is out there doing actual hateful things, which generally doesn't happen, you can block them because they're legitimately breaking your terms of conditions. But what happens is they have these nebulous policies. They apply them unfairly, they ban who they don't like, and they just say, terms of service violations. All right? That's kind of what's going on. And it's kind of annoying. And so this is what this case is about. And of course, it's a very left-leaning article. So, oh my, this is so radical. It's so radical that Facebook and Twitter should actually have objective standards rather than subjectively ban the people they don't like. That's kind of crazy. And then this one is just, it blows my mind why this person has a job as a journalist. I should say journalist. Okay. Josh Hawley wants to punish Disney by taking copyright law back to 1909, and that sucks. I can't believe I'm taking Disney's side on anything. Listen to this first paragraph of this article. I have been told to blog about Senator Josh Hawley's new copyright bill, and I do this with nothing but the greatest reluctance. Normally, I love talking about copyright. I'll talk about copyright all day. Editor's note, and she does. Woo! But writing this post is agony because the thought of giving absolutely asinine piece of legislation any attention is killing me on the inside. Oh my Lord. So much for objective news reporting. Okay, let me break this down for you. Copyright law is a good thing. We need copyright. Okay? What copyright does, it allows me as a person who is innovative in a capitalist society to say, hey, I made a widget. Would you like to buy it? And a copyright allows me, and there's patent, copyright, whatever else. Okay, I make my copyright. I sell it to you. You're not allowed to take that, reverse engineer it, and sell a copy of my copy, a copy of my thing for a period of time. General copyright law generally lasts the lifetime of the creator plus an extra 20 years. That's usually about what copyright law is. For a company, it's limited to a certain amount of time. Like, I think in the case of Disney, it was like 20 years after the death of the original creator, who was Walt Disney. But what happened is Disney started going in and petitioning every time their copyrights were about to go up. They wanted to petition it and make it longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer forever, so that basically a corporation does something, it is perpetually under copyright. You see, here's the thing. This leftist moron is like, we shouldn't have copyright. So she's attacking the guy who's returning copyright back to the old way of doing copyright, which actually made sense. Because the things, when I write a book, and I've written several books, when I write a book and I publish it, I need to be able to rest on the copyright of that book for my lifetime. And then let's give it another generation after me for my heirs. And then after that, if they haven't figured out a way to do something else, that's on them. So that's what's going on. So here is brief. The bill has targeted the Walt Disney Company, a person that has market capitalization of $150 billion and is classified under North American Industry Classification System, engages in substantial activities which code described could be assigned. Okay, so the bill would set copyright terms to 28 years plus potential to renew for another 28 years, a grand total of 56 years for that, except it is for copyrights owned by Disney. So in other words, once you reach a certain level, yeah, you cannot keep on pushing out copyright ad infinitum. That's the point. Because ad infinitum copyright is what the problem is. Ad infinitum copyright prevents me from saying, hey, this book was written by a guy in 1900, I would like to read a copy of it. It's 1900. Clearly the guy is dead. Clearly the guy's heirs have had a chance to do something with their life. Why can I not read that book for free? I completely get that I'm not going to read a modern author's book for free. But we need to have the ability to read old stuff for free. And it goes the same with copyright law and all this kind of stuff. 28-year copyright term is thrown back to the Copyright Act of 1928. The requirement for an application and extension, similarly an outdated legal formality, was abandoned in 76, barred from future, signed into international copyright trade, known as the Berne Convention, 1988, further precludes its succession. All right, so basically, this is a moron who is pretending to be a journalist, who is nothing but a journalist, who is nothing at all like a journalist, who has no understanding of what she's talking about, even though she wants to run around and talk about it the whole life. This is insane. This is why The Verge is an idiot. Bunch of morons over there. All right. Well, Google adds virtual credit cards for Google Play, or Google Pay, excuse me. So on the one hand, it is a way to more secure your credit cards. You give your credit cards to Google one time. You give your credit cards to Google one time, and then you can basically create virtual cards for a number of different services. On the one hand, it does a really good job of keeping things isolated so people aren't going to steal your credit cards and go do crazy things with it. On the other hand, it also filters absolutely everything through Google. So Google can now monitor absolutely everything you're buying perfectly. Perfectly. And of course, we know that Google does already buy and sell data about credit card payments and things like this. So this is like, whoa, this is so good for privacy and security. The problem is it's Google. And that's kind of the issue here. So, of course, it's very similar, as they say, to saving your credit card information on Chrome. But when you save the information on Chrome, Google doesn't necessarily see the interaction. Maybe they do. But in this case, Google will literally have the opportunity to actually see every interaction that you are doing online. And that is part of the rub of this. So I would recommend not doing that. It is very similar to another service. I believe it's called privacy.com, which does something similar. Of course, they're not a company necessarily that makes their money by selling your private data. So whatever that is. And finally, Apple loses a key director of machine learning over the return to in-person work policy. If there's one thing that the Koofy overreaction has done, is it has demonstrated for us that people can do a whole lot more in our society from home. We can work a whole lot more from home. Like I have a friend whose mother was like, when she first sent home to work, she's like, I cannot work from home. This is horrible. And I hated it and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Fast forward a year. She's like, I am so much more productive at home. I'm so much happier at home. I'm so much less stressed at home. I got my dog. I can take a walk when I'm stressed in the afternoon for 10 minutes. And her productivity shot through the roof. They're like, yeah, you can keep working from home. I think she switched jobs to have to go back. But now that we're seeing a lot of these companies are like, oh yeah, if you just want to work from home, you're just lazy. And that's not the case. I'll tell you something. I have worked from home, exclusively from home, for I think 12, 13 years now. Okay, I have not had a job at somebody else's place of employ since I think 2010. I've had a few little contracts with big companies. Mostly it's all been independent work. But the fact is, yes, I have worked from home for that long. Like before it was trendy, before it was popular, before anybody knew how to do it, I was doing it. And I will tell you, it is glorious over putting in your hours and commuting to the office and all the other stuff that goes with the office. And so Apple puts in this policy like everybody's got to come back to work. And here is the director of machine learning is like, no. So reports of Apple employees criticizing companies' return to in-work policies. Some have even resigning for the workplace that offers more flexibility or allows them to go remote full-time. New policy is also affecting top-level executives. Ian Goodfellow being the latest high-level profile departure. He had been with the helm of Apple's machine learning efforts for 3 years, recently announced his departure because of Apple's in-work policy. So there you have it. The fact of the matter is, a company needs to determine, do people actually have to be there? Or are you just a micromanager? You want to be able to look over at people's shoulders? Because I got news for you. I got clients that they can get a hold of me when they can get a hold of me, and we get things done and things get done and all this kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is, you do not necessarily, depending on your job, you do not necessarily have to go into the office. There are certainly some jobs that you have to work from their actual location. I get that. But a lot of these jobs, you don't need to. You may as well save the commute, save the office space, all that kind of stuff, and get your work done from home. Is the task your work, or is the task to have a family team employment environment where everybody loves each other and has beer pong parties? It doesn't make sense, guys. Doesn't make sense. Well, anyway, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Today we are highlighting Linode, tlm.li/Linode will get you $100 in free credit. That's a 60-day trial, and you can spin up as many Linodes as you want in that 2-month time. See the limits, what it does. It is way cheaper than a lot of the other services out there. Lots of new options and things like that. So have a look at Linode, tlm.li/Linode. So heading on over to Sillyville, Instagram is the latest to get into the NFT craze. Yeah, by the way, we always put NFTs in Sillyville because NFTs are just stupid. Okay, you're paying lots of money for a picture. All right, so last I knew, I could be completely wrong. I mean, I know I don't use Facebook products. I don't use Instagram. I don't use any social medias on phones, things like that. Last I knew, though, Instagram was all about posting pictures on Instagram, right? You just get in there, you post pictures. Do you post anything but pictures? Maybe a little caption about it? So now they're going to start testing NFTs with select users. That's right. So bottom line, small group of Instagram users will be able to display NFTs directly on the sharing platform. So you'll be able to put up a picture of a picture. Okay, that's exciting. Well then, they're starting small in order to learn from the community. An important strategy considering Instagram is a centralized platform. So what happens if you share someone's NFT? I mean, it is just a picture after all. So, yeah, okay, all right. You can pretend to have real currency in the fake digital picture that everybody else has a copy of the picture of too, but I guess you own the picture that everybody else has a picture of. All right. This is next level stupid. That's what it is. Well, today's intended Wordle solution was pushed to 2027 because major recent news events should not be in Wordle. So just remember this, guys, for all you Wordle players, in 2027, the word fetus will be a solution one of the days in 2027. So every day, if you guys are getting into Wordle in 2027, you get into it, day 1, fetus. Is that right? No, fetus. Day 2, fetus. Is it right? Day 3, fetus. Is it right? Day 4, fetus. Is it right? It's going to be right one of those days because it was pushed to 2027. Because, of course, we all lose our mind when something controversial is in a video game puzzle. Okay, is this? I don't even know. Like I'm so far out of the loop. I'm such a Luddite and a boomer. I'm a ludistic boomer. I don't even get any of this crap anymore. Is this what getting old feels like? You're like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how you paid millions of dollars for a picture that's the same copy of a picture everybody else has. I don't understand why you have a game on your phone that you get all emotionally attached to. The word fetus is in there. Ah! Wow. Well, last week we talked a little bit about the automatic transforming Optimus Prime. This is a Lego Optimus Prime that transforms without having to rebuild it. I am completely mad, though, because of all of the videos and pictures that they had on the Lego set for this, they did not have a picture of how to transform this guy. I mean, I'm not saying you got to make it auto-transform, but I'd like to see a few transitional ones here. I need to prove evolutionarily that this is really this. I want to see some transitional fossils here, guys, and there are none. I didn't see any. I want to see step by step how this thing transforms from this to this without disassembling it. I don't know if I believe him. I don't know. And does he have a trailer? Do we have a Lego trailer or not? Well, in robot mode, he's 13.5 inches tall. In truck mode, he's just under 6 inches tall and 10.5 inches wide. And I think was $170. So if you want a Lego Optimus Prime for $170, there you have it. It's getting crazy. Any Call of Duty players out there? Well, pretty soon you're going to be able to play Godzilla and King Kong. I kind of want to do this. Not going to lie. I would love to get together with a team of guys and get some machine guns and battle King Kong in a Call of Duty game. That does sound kind of fun. I got to say it. Face him for a limited time. How do I play? How do I sign me up? Of course, if it requires a subscription, you can have it. But they're adding the wild crossover. Call of Duty Warzone, giant monsters, Godzilla, and Kong will appear in a new limited time mode that kicks off May 11th. We have a few more days, guys. In the new mod, Operation Monarch, players will compete to be the last team standing as Godzilla and King Kong roam the island, while monsters usually don't get too aggressive. At certain points during the match, they might become enraged and recklessly attack in Titan Frenzy, according to a blog post. After receiving a Titan Frenzy alert, an operator has two options: tactically withdraw. Let's see. Tactically withdraw. Wait, two options: tactically withdraw, run away from these dangerous creatures. Oh, okay. Or, there it is, attempt to suppress them by dealing direct damage. If you do enough damage to either monster, you'll get a kill streak ability that lets you use powers from Godzilla or Kong. Okay. That sounds very fun. Anyway, anybody out there is big into Call of Duty, let me know how that goes. Pictures would be fun. I gotta see how they did the graphics on that. Unless this is a picture directly from it, I don't know. I doubt it is, but we'll see. Anyway, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. That'll support all the channels. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.